What if I told you that some of the greatest moments in NBA history didn't belong to the superstars? What if the most thrilling wins, the most jaw-dropping upsets, the most impossible comebacks belonged to the guys nobody believed in? Today, we're counting down the greatest underdog stories in NBA history. Stay until part 4, because the last one might genuinely change how you see the game forever. Imagine a team so loaded with talent, analysts called them the greatest roster ever assembled. Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Karl Malone, Gary Payton. 4 Hall of Famers, one team. Now imagine the team that beat them had 0 All-Stars on the floor. The 2004 Detroit Pistons were a group of cast-offs, second-rounders, and overlooked grinders. Chauncey Billups was cut by 5 different teams before Detroit. Ben Wallace, arguably their best player, was undrafted. Let that sink in. Undrafted. And he became a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. Before the finals, a Sports Illustrated panel of 97 experts predicted the Lakers to win. All 97. The Pistons swept through the series 4-1, holding the greatest roster ever to just 88 points per game. One of the most dominant defensive performances in finals history.
Let me tell an interesting fact. Ben Wallace's only scholarship offer out of high school was from a tiny NAIA school in Virginia. He never played a single minute in college at a major program. He went undrafted in 1994, bounced around for years, then became the heart of an NBA champion. The scouts missed him. The whole league missed him. Detroit didn't win because they had the best player. They won because they played like a team, when teams weren't cool anymore. And nobody saw it coming.
On the night of the 2011 NBA Draft, with the very last pick, 60th out of 60, the Sacramento Kings selected a 5'9" point guard from the University of Washington. His name? Isaiah Thomas. Named after the other Isaiah Thomas, the Hall of Famer, as a joke. His own father bet a friend that his son would never make the NBA. He lost that bet spectacularly. Fast forward to 2016-17. Isaiah Thomas, now with the Boston Celtics, averaged 28.9 points per game, 4th in the entire league. He was robbed of an all-star starting nod 2 years in a row. He finished 5th in MVP voting. The last pick? 5th in MVP. But here's what the highlight reels don't show you. On April 16, 2017, the day after his younger sister China died,
in a car accident, Isaiah Thomas suited up for a playoff game against the Chicago Bulls. He scored 33 points. He dedicated every game for the rest of that postseason to her. Isaiah Thomas is the shortest player in NBA history to score 50-plus points in a game. He dropped 53 points against Miami on January 27, 2017, in just 33 minutes. At 5'9", he's giving up nearly a foot to the guys guarding him. Every basket is a physics problem he shouldn't be able to solve. Isaiah Thomas didn't just beat the odds, he became the odds.
In 2019, the Golden State Warriors lost Kevin Durant to a ruptured Achilles, then Klay Thompson to a torn ACL. Then, Klay tore his Achilles during his comeback season. Their 2 best players gone for 3 straight years. They went from 73 wins and a dynasty to the worst record in the NBA. They were supposed to be finished. Analysts wrote the eulogy. The dynasty era, they said, was over. Nobody told Steph Curry. In 2021-22, with a revamped squad, young players, new energy, a healthy Klay finally returning, the Warriors went on a run that shocked the basketball world. They won 53 games. Then they tore through the playoffs. Steph Curry won his first ever Finals MVP, at age 34. He'd already won 2 regular season MVPs, 4 championships, and revolutionized basketball with the three-pointer. But Finals MVP? That took until he was 34, after everyone counted him out. Steph Curry was not heavily recruited out of high school. Virginia Tech, his dream school, didn't offer him a scholarship because coaches thought he was too small and too weak. He ended up at Davidson College, a small school most NBA scouts ignored. He went 7th overall in the draft. 3 players selected before him never became starters. Curry changed the geometry of basketball. Teams now attempt more three-pointers per game league-wide than they did mid-range shots in the 1990s. One undersized, under-recruited kid rewired an entire sport. The Warriors' story isn't just about comebacks. It's about what happens when you build something real, something that survives, even when the stars fall out. Before the 2023 NBA season, a reporter asked Moses Malone how far his new 76ers team would go in the playoffs. He looked at the camera and said 3 words that became legend. Foe, foe, foe. 4-0, 4-0, 4-0. 3 rounds, no losses. People laughed at him. Analysts mocked it. Nobody sweeps through 3 playoff rounds. Nobody. Moses Malone was not a celebrated prospect. He grew up in poverty in Petersburg, Virginia, one of the few players to go directly from high school to the ABA because his family desperately needed income. He was overlooked, undervalued, and bounced between teams before landing in Philadelphia. And then, in 1983, he nearly kept his promise. Foe, foe, fi. The 76ers went 12-1 in the playoffs, the closest thing to a perfect postseason run in NBA history. They swept the Lakers in the finals, with Moses Malone dominating Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, arguably the greatest center of all time, on the biggest stage. Moses Malone won Finals MVP, regular season MVP, and his team proved every doubter spectacular.
Moses Malone holds the all-time NBA record for offensive rebounds, 6,731, a record so dominant it may never be broken in the modern game. He grabbed offensive rebounds at a rate nearly 40% higher than the next best player in history. He wasn't the most athletic, he wasn't the tallest, he just refused to let the ball hit the floor without a fight. The greatest underdogs don't win because they're supposed to. They win because they simply will not accept the alternative. Detroit, Isaiah, Golden State, Moses. Different eras, different faces, same truth. The game doesn't care where you came from. It only cares what you do when nobody believes you. Which story hit hardest for you? Drop it in the comments below. And if you believe in underdogs, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it today.